but there has been a few more details coming out about bullying claims against Meghan Markle. It's been revealed that royal aides who accused Meghan Markle of bullying. Now, among the revelations in the book were allegations that Buckingham Palace buried an investigation into claims Meghan Markle bullied palace staff.
Meghan Markle says she's the victim of a smear campaign. But what if her own words prove otherwise? From leaked palace emails to quotes she made years before becoming a royal. Today, we're diving into the receipts, the contradictions, and the truth behind the bullying claims. Stay tuned, because the story you think you know is about to flip completely. But first, we need to rewind to the moment it all exploded. In March 2021, just days before Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's big Oprah Winfrey interview, a huge controversy hit the news. The UK newspaper The Times published a report saying that former palace staff had accused Meghan of bullying them during her time as a working royal. The claims were serious. Some staff said she had driven 2 personal assistants out of the household and undermined the confidence of a third employee. These weren't just random gossip stories. The complaints were reportedly written down, sent to senior royal aides, and even passed on to Buckingham Palace's Human Resources Department. According to The Times, the situation in Meghan's office was tense. They described junior staff members in tears, high-pressure meetings, and what some people called an almost obsessive work style. Some said it felt like a toxic environment where people were afraid to make mistakes. These descriptions painted a picture of Meghan as a boss who was extremely demanding and to some intimidating. Meghan's team responded almost immediately. Her spokesperson strongly denied the claims and said they were part of a calculated smear campaign meant to damage her reputation. They pointed out that the timing of the report, right before her Oprah interview, was suspicious. Meghan's side also said she was deeply saddened by the accusations, especially since she claimed she had been the target of bullying herself in the past. In her view, the story wasn't about her being a bad boss, but about people trying to silence and discredit her before she could tell her side to Oprah.
Prince Harry on his recent media tour went on about, so obvious. The palace starts talking about her bullying.
The palace did something unusual too. They announced that they would formally investigate the claims. Normally, internal staff issues stayed private, but this time the royal household wanted to show they were taking it seriously. This meant that what could have been a behind-the-scenes HR dispute had now turned into a full public battle. On one side, there were staff members who felt Meghan had crossed the line. On the other, Meghan's team argued that she was being unfairly targeted by an old-fashioned system that didn't like change. But while the palace sources had their stories, Meghan had something else. Her own words on record, long before she joined the royal family. Long before Meghan became a duchess, she was already used to being in the spotlight. She had her own lifestyle blog called The Tig, where she wrote about everything from food and travel to personal growth. She also gave interviews about her career and how she worked. In one 2015 interview, she described herself very clearly. "I'm a perfectionist. I know exactly what I want, and I'm very clear when people don't meet that standard." At the time, it sounded like something you'd expect from a hardworking actress. She was ambitious, focused, and wanted the best results. But after the bullying allegations came out, some people started looking back at that quote differently. In another appearance at a women's leadership conference, Meghan talked about how she reacts when someone tells her something can't be done. She said, "If someone tells me something can't be done, my instinct is to push harder. That's when I become very direct." To her, being direct was about efficiency and making things happen, but in a place like the royal household, where tradition and formality are the norm, being very direct could come across as being harsh or overly demanding. This isn't proof that she bullied anyone. A lot of successful people are perfectionists and push hard to get things done, but it does show that Meghan's style was more focused on results than comfort. She valued high standards, and in the wrong environment, that could easily lead to tension. In Hollywood, being direct might be seen as confident leadership. In the royal world, it might be taken as rude or disrespectful. The most interesting part is that Meghan often talked about kindness too. On The Tig, she once wrote, "Kindness will always be fashionable." She liked to promote compassion and empathy publicly.
And make sure everyone felt like they could see themselves in these pages. Because I remember as a little girl, you can always see someone that looked like you. And I thought that was really important to have everyone's story feel like it was unfolding on those pages for them.
It's really sweet. And then does Archie know he's in here? Does he know that's him? And what does he think of the book?
But this is exactly why the bullying claims shocked people. They didn't match the warm, caring image she had built in interviews and blog posts. Of course, leadership quotes in interviews are one thing, but what happens when someone's private communications are put under the microscope? A few months after the bullying allegations became public, UK tabloids claimed they had seen some of Meghan Markle's internal emails to palace staff. These weren't random messages, they were work-related emails, and some of them reportedly showed her making urgent requests for changes to official press releases. What stood out to the media was that these emails were often sent late at night, and Meghan would insist that they be revised immediately. In a few cases, she even expressed disappointment when drafts didn't meet her expectations. Now, it's important to note that these emails didn't contain any swear words or direct personal insults. She wasn't calling people names or writing anything openly aggressive. But according to some of the staff who saw them, the tone felt sharp and impatient. For people who were used to the slower, more formal royal working style, this was a big change. Meghan's supporters argued that this wasn't bullying at all. It was simply her being used to the fast pace of Hollywood and American work culture. In the entertainment industry, late night edits and quick turnarounds are totally normal. Meghan had spent years working on TV sets where deadlines were tight and you had to get things done quickly. To her, this was just efficient communication. But her critics saw these emails as exactly the kind of high-pressure environment that staff had been complaining about. They argued that it created unnecessary stress and made people feel like they could never fully switch off from work. What made this more interesting was that Meghan herself had admitted in past interviews that she hates waiting for people to catch up and often works on LA time, meaning she doesn't stick to the traditional 9-to-5 schedule. For people reading those emails in that context, it was easy to spin the story toward bullying rather than just urgency. Emails are one thing, but Meghan's spoken words in her own voice give even more clues. When Meghan Markle finally sat down for her big Oprah Winfrey interview in 2021, the world was waiting to hear her side of the story. The bullying allegations had made headlines just days earlier, so naturally, people were curious about how she would respond. Surprisingly, Meghan didn't spend much time on the subject. She addressed it briefly, dismissing the claims as nothing more than character assassination. Instead of diving into the details, she quickly shifted the conversation toward her struggles with mental health during her time in the royal family. This was a clever move from a PR perspective. By focusing on her personal struggles, Meghan turned the spotlight away from the specific accusations and onto how she felt she had been treated by the institution. It changed the narrative from Meghan accused of bad behavior to Meghan suffered while inside the palace. However, some viewers noticed subtle things in her reaction. Body language experts pointed out that her expression seemed to tighten slightly when Oprah mentioned the word bullying. While Meghan didn't appear visibly angry, there was a quick change in her face that suggested discomfort. She didn't go into specifics about whether she had ever raised her voice, disagreed strongly with staff, or made high demands. All things that could happen without necessarily being bullying. And if you really want to understand how Meghan's own words fit into this, you need to go even further back, before the royal years. Before Meghan Markle became the Duchess of Sussex, she was already well known in the entertainment world. She spent several years starring in the TV drama Suits, which had long filming days and tight schedules. In a 2013 behind-the-scenes interview, Meghan described what life on set was like. She said, "We work 16-hour days. You don't complain, you just get it done." This gave a clear picture of her work ethic. Long hours, no excuses, and results over comfort. In Hollywood, this attitude is common. If you're leading a project or you're a main cast member, being direct and pushing for perfection isn't seen as rude. It's seen as being professional and committed. But when Meghan entered the royal family, she walked into a very different workplace. Palace staff, especially those who had worked for older royals, were used to a slower, more formal style of communication. Instructions were often passed through private secretaries or written memos, not quick face-to-face directives or rapid-fire emails. For these employees, Meghan's Hollywood direct style might have felt intense, even overwhelming.
I've made a very, very conscious effort to create boundaries for myself and for my mental health, for my well-being, and certainly to role model that as well for my children.
What Meghan saw as normal getting things done could easily come across as relentless micromanagement in an environment that valued tradition, patience, and formality. Her own admission in that same 2013 interview, "I'll keep asking until I get the answer I want," shows how persistent she could be. In the entertainment industry, that persistence can help a project succeed. But in a centuries-old monarchy, where change moves slowly and hierarchy is everything, that same persistence can be interpreted as pressure or even pushiness. So, was Meghan unfairly attacked? Or did her own words tell a completely different story? Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you enjoyed digging into this royal drama, hit that subscribe button right now because the next video goes even deeper and you don't want to miss it.